Where is Stamkos? Where is Stamkos?
And especially in a defeating 5-2 loss like that it just sticks out. It's just you can't chase that away. It was so good.
Yeah. It was nice to say things like, is it lonely, Andre, without Steven?
Yes.
Or, Headman, you'll never fill those shoes?
Right.
On today's Good Buds episode, we talk playing down to your opponents, home ice advantage, Department of Player Safety disadvantage, where is Joe Woll, God of the Week, and this is Egregious. Let's go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 39 of the Good Buds podcast, a show about the Toronto Maple Leafs. Not weed, but weed is tight. My name is Joey Belfiore. I'm here with Andrew Bascom, and that was brutal.
God, I know. We want to start doing more of these episodes right as games end so that we can have a quick recap, something that we'd want to listen to. But, of course, we had to start with a 6-2 loss to the Columbus Blue Jackets. Yeah.
May have well been 7 million to nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah, the game ended like 2 minutes ago.
Yep.
So recording this right after the worst game of the year to date, by far, obviously.
Yes.
Leafs lose 6-2 in Columbus. Looked like a team that played the night before. Looked like a team that traveled the night before. Although Mike Johnson did bring up a good point. It's only an hour flight.
Yeah, not far.
Yeah, just nothing to like.
No.
I didn't like anything. Did you like anything?
No, it's you always try and find the silver lining, and I think about after the opening game to Montreal where we lost, and we're like, you know what? There was a lot of good in there, and then we're like, focusing on all the positives. I struggle to find a single positive thing about tonight's game.
Yeah, it started bad real quick, and it got worse. So the Leafs play down to their opponents. They have for what seems like a long time. And, you talk about new coach, new team. Is this team different? And one of the ways you can, I guess, gauge if they are different is if they still have this problem.
Yes.
They still have this problem.
They do. They absolutely do. I love this thing that we kind of just, with the Craig Berube of it all, that we kind of just wash it and go like, man, this team looks so different. Oh, they look, they're just, I don't even recognize these guys anymore. And then stuff like this happens and you go, oh yeah, this is this team. I know this team. I've been following this team for a couple years now. I don't know if that means it's the fundamentals of the team. It's who they are. Or, back-to-backs are tough for a reason. Most teams lose a lot of the back-to-backs. But this one is a special example because Columbus sucks. They're supposed to be bad. They're going to be the worst team in the league probably. And you just can't, you can't drop things. Monday night's game against Tampa Bay means so much less when you lose the next night the way you did to Columbus of all teams.
Yeah. Yeah, 2 of our 3 losses come against the Montreal Canadiens and the Columbus Zach Aston Reeses.
Yeah. Good to see him.
Good to see him.
Good to see him. What a guy.
So one thing I noticed on the power play in this game that I hadn't seen that set up at least this year was both Matthews and Marner below the goal line. I don't know what that's achieving.
I know.
If you're going to have 2 players below the goal line, why are you putting your best shooter or the league's best shooter there? Wouldn't you want to put him in a position of higher percentages? I don't know. That looked weird to me. Obviously, it wasn't like that the entire time.
No,
it was kind of quick, but I saw that and I was like, this is weird.
No,
choice.
I also didn't like it because it doesn't make any sense for Marner to Matthews passes, which are something that they are very good at. Marner's an incredible passer. He sees the game in a different way, and those passes become much tougher because they're in such a weird angle that you're passing through so many people. And so you saw a lot when they were like this of passes that go wide for Matthews or passes he couldn't handle because you have to float it through so many people. And so I don't, that one didn't make a lot of sense. That power play that's looked good for the last couple of games didn't have, anything going.
Yeah, I mean, nothing had anything going.
Well, that's fair.
And it's like, how long can we sit and talk about this game? Because I feel like this is just one of those, you want to be like, all right, I just want to throw this one away and move on.
Yeah, well, you're gonna kind of have to. Yeah, even at the end where Ryan Reeves is trying to fight somebody, and you're like, okay, here we go. Like, at least let's finish on a high note. You can't, and nobody's biting, and it's like, oh, great.
Why did he get 4 there?
I don't know, because I think weird thing that, like, okay, so Pontus Holmberg gets stood up at center ice. In a very clean hit. And Ryan Reeves kind of jumps the guy. And then another Columbus Blue Jacket jumps Ryan Reeves. And there's 2 guys on Ryan Reeves. And Reeves gets 2 minutes. 4 minutes. But I think it's mostly because I don't know.
The instigator?
Yeah,
I get 2 for the instigator.
Yeah.
I was confused. I mean, whatever. The game was well over by that point. But I was just kind of confused. 4.
Yeah.
Why 4?
I don't know. And it's the same thing. There was a call earlier in the game, too. With Robertson, and he gets 2 minutes for hooking, and the other guy gets 2 minutes for diving. I hate this match penalty nonsense with diving. Like, call diving, that's good. There should be more calls of diving in the NHL. But then why does Robertson get anything? Then it almost negates the point of having a diving call in the first place. I just don't get it.
Yeah, you could have called diving. You could have called holding the stick.
Yeah.
He pinned Robertson's arm to his body.
Yeah.
Held his stick and then just fell.
Ugh. It's just, it doesn't mean anything when you both get a penalty. Like, okay, yeah, whatever. You're not stopping him from doing it, so.
Yeah, speaking of penalties, something that, is this concerning to you? Max Domi has 6 penalties in 7 games.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are coming at real shit
Bad.
times.
Yeah. Max Domi is a very frustrating player at this point. And you know what? I will say at this point last year, he was also like, so what does he do exactly? Like you kind of end up kind of going like, okay, so what's his true skill set? And I understand that there's some great passing, and he was great at the end of last year. But there are games that he just kind of floats through, and then he'll get a penalty at a bad time, and you go, oh, right, Max Domi, God, okay, yeah. Oh, that sucks. Yeah, I understand there's a little bit of like a firecracker nature to him where he's like, I'm trying to get the guys going, and I'm going to play aggressive and stuff, but it has not worked at all this year, like you're saying. 6 in 7 games, 6 penalties in 7 games, that's awful. Like, that is hurting the team.
Yeah, that's hurting the team. We talked about this a little bit, but just kind of like that Nazem Kadri, I guess, bone in his body where he goes a little too hard sometimes.
Yeah.
And I understand where that's coming from. I understand the passion. It's just, it's using the extra passion and taking it a little too far to put your team in a shorthanded spot. And I thought we saw that from Kadri a few times, obviously in the playoffs.
Yes.
Where you're like, this guy's so hyped up, he wants to take someone's head off.
Right.
And he did.
And he did.
Jake DeBrusk almost got decapitated. But I feel like I'm seeing that sometimes from Max Domi, and you're just, it's kind of concerning because you're like, okay, when these games, I mean, obviously every game matters, but like when we get to the playoffs, can we not do this? Is there a way to not do this? Because we know we're going to get those calls. Like, we know, like, the refs are putting their arm up against this team. So, I don't know. Concerns me a little bit.
Oh, it definitely does, because you just wonder, you're like, is this ingrained in him, or can he change? And I don't know. I don't know if he's making a choice to do that, or that's just going to happen. And then the other one, too, is we see all the time with Toronto Maple Leafs, they get a reputation, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, you become Michael Bunting, and you can't get a call to save your life, but they're looking at you like a hawk. And Max Domi, a fiery player that will definitely talk a lot, you worry that will also come for him.
Yeah. That's all I got on this one, Andrew. I don't want to spend another second on this game. Throw it out. Move on.
Yeah.
And it's shitty that this kind of clouds over what was such an amazing game on Monday night.
Yeah. It was.
So I just kind of want to feel like, or try to turn back the clock like 4 hours.
Sure.
And just feel how I was feeling before the Columbus game.
Yeah.
Because I was on such a high. We were both on such highs last night. Andrew and I went to the game and had a time and a half.
Had a time. That's for sure. We had amazing seats, and we were able to watch the Leafs shoot twice, and both of us, you can hear it in our voices today, are feeling it a little bit. We are hoarse with how much we were yelling at there, which I'm going to definitely get to in my This Is Egregious. But what a game. They played so well. They chased Vasilevsky early. They were so physical. They were hitting left and right. It was amazing to watch. It's just, oh, that stink. You need a shower right now to get this Columbus game off you because, 4 hours ago, you're feeling amazing.
Yeah. About a lot of things. Mainly Anthony Stolarz.
Yes.
He has the net. It's his.
Yeah.
You can't take it away from him now. We'll talk about Joe Woll or the lack of Joe Woll in a couple moments here, but just some true elite goaltending from Anthony Stolarz. Not only Monday, but all year. He's just been phenomenal.
Yeah.
And it all kind of comes together during that 5-on-3.
Yeah.
What a performance.
What a performance. An amazing early Leafs save of the year with the goal line, the puck going across the goal line and him reaching back. He played big. Like he really did. He looked so confident and you just had full assurance that he was going to be stopping it. And man, he played so well against a Tampa team that is still very good. I know they're not having the best season so far this year, but they're still Tampa Bay. Like they're still really good.
Well, that's the thing. It's we try to figure out who's going to be the team on the outside in the Atlantic, and every year we're wrong because every year we think, oh, it'll be Boston and Tampa finally. But no, they're going to be in the picture. It's going to be April, and Tampa Bay is going to be in the dance. So to play like that against a team like that is super important.
Yeah.
And, we've talked about the Leafs going up and then letting teams back in. Didn't happen. Closed it out wonderfully. A lot to like. The top six, it feels like official at this point in time, where obviously the first line, which has played unbelievably all season.
Yeah.
I'm not counting tonight for anything that I say. Matthews, Marner, and Nyes, and then the second line seems like it's got its own identity.
Yeah.
Max Domi, William Nylander, and Bobby McMann, they seem to have some really, really nice chemistry with one another, and like we've said, Bobby McMann kind of plays the responsible role. Although we know William Nylander has been more and more responsible as he has grown. Traditionally, he's an offense-first player.
Yep.
But just the chemistry between him and Max Domi has been something to watch. And they get on the board early last night. They get the first one. And they just keep rolling from there. Let's talk about what we did.
Yeah. Okay.
Our roles.
Our role. Yeah. Everyone had an important role to play, including Joey and I.
So I decided that I would try my best to highlight the fact that Tampa Bay lowballed Steven Stamkos.
Yes.
And they soured that relationship. So early in the first, started screaming, "Where's Steven?"
Yeah.
Where's Steven? And I just kind of kept getting on them. And, when you're sitting close enough, we were lucky enough to sit in the Golds.
Yeah.
You feel like they can hear you. And then, I got a pretty booming voice when I want to.
Yeah. A few drinks in.
Yeah, maybe 4 double vodka sodas in. It just kept going. And it kept, it sort of took on a life of its own. And by, I would say, late in the second, early third, we got a couple people behind us joining in the "Where's Stamkos" chants.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the entire section goes. And then I will say this might be like my proudest moment as a Leaf fan. We heard it from the other side of the rink.
Yes.
And the "Where is Stamkos" chant was born.
So, you know how like the wave sucks, right? I do understand the pride in people having when they start it and they see it on the other side of the arena. They're like, "Wow, I started this." But Joey, you gotta pat yourself on the back because the "Where's Steven" was kind of not even a chant. It was like a deriding comment. It would be like pointed at people like, Vasilevsky, who's just, getting chased. And it's Andre, where's Steven?
Yeah.
And the whole time, and then it became a chant. And then all of a sudden you hear the chant being bounced back from you on the other side, even to the point that people were pointing out on Twitter that like, if you search Steven Stamkos, it was just clips of people yelling, "Where's Stamkos" from the arena.
Where is Stamkos? Where is Stamkos?
And especially in a defeating 5-2 loss like that it just sticks out. It's just you can't chase that away. It was so good.
Yeah, it was nice to say things like, "Is it lonely, Andre, without Steven?"
Yes.
Or,
yes.
"Hedman, you'll never fill those shoes."
Right.
I enjoy doing that stuff.
Oh, it's
it
so
was
good.
a lot of fun.
John Cooper, it's like, you guys are down. Put in Steven. Oh, wait, what? No. It's so good. Yeah. Love it.
So, because we weren't at the game, we didn't get to see it on TV, the Amazon Prime broadcast.
Yeah. But
a lot of talk about the crowd.
Yeah.
The crowd was different.
Yeah.
And I guess my question is, do you buy that, or is it kind of what some people are saying is that Sportsnet mutes their crowds?
Yeah, like we got to go back and watch this, and I think we'll do it for next Monday because I'm so excited to see the presentation. But I have no doubt that there are. Let's just go with this. How about a blanket statement? I have no doubt that there are issues with the presentation and production of Sportsnet's games. I think it's pretty fair to say that there is a lot lacking when it comes to the way that they present hockey, which is so funny, spending billions of dollars. But they got to get Sam Cosentino on there, and they got to get the same old recycled nonsense. And to think that there is a new player in a tech that has a tech experience that's one of the most valuable companies in the whole world, and they get to take a new take at this sport, I have no doubt that they're doing something a little different.
Yeah.
If not better. If not better. How about that? Let's just go with better.
Yeah, you've seen some of the clips.
Yeah.
Clips of the warm-ups, which is nice. A nice little touch.
Yeah.
Just stuff that fans want to see rather than... I mean, I love you, David Amber, but I don't need to see you in a super tight shirt talking corny jokes for 30 minutes.
I know. It's just the same old nonsense that our grandparents watched, but just with younger people. And I just, how can we not think it could be better? How is that not? I understand the idea is that you spend so much money on it, so you go we got to play it safe. We got to give the people what they want, which is Ron McLean. I understand that that's a real thing that they probably say. We can't.
But is that even safe? Is Ron even safe anymore? Ron is just pure nonsense.
I agree. Yeah, the poetry and the from Peterborough to Thunder Bay. It's just, I get it. But
as the stars go dark on the Timmins sky, so does the sky shine bright with I. It doesn't make any sense. And you're back to you, Kyle.
Yeah, it does. And then you sit there and you're like, what? And Kyle's our age. He's like, I love where it's the stars over Bob Cage, and that Gord Downey once spoke about. So true. Do the Toronto Maple Leafs play the Dallas Stars tonight? And you're like, what the fuck is it? Huh? It hurts your head to even get through process. But don't forget, they tried to put Strombo on the air. They tried to put George Stroumboulopoulos really close to when they had fired Don Cherry. There is a real tight window, and so getting rid of Don Cherry, which upset some people, whatever. I don't think I've missed him a single time. And then Ron McLean at the same time. I think people were like, whoa, this is too much. And ever since then, it's just felt like they've tried to recycle the same thing over and over and over again. Kelly Rudy's fine, but you can't tell me that he is bringing people to the television to go oh, that was very insightful, whatever. But instead, you get these clips from TNT and ESPN where it feels like entertainment. It feels like they are trying to entertain you, and that's a big difference from what we're getting.
Yeah, you feel like you said, they're trying to be safe.
Yeah.
But maybe the pendulum has swung so far that Ron McLean is no longer safe anymore. He's just he's not. I don't want to.
I know.
Ron McLean is nothing, but it's just kind of it's butter. It's pasta with butter.
Yeah. A little Parmesan and pasta and butter. I think
no Parmesan.
Oh, no Parmesan.
No Parmesan.
Okay.
Just pasta with butter.
Jesus. Okay.
Parmesan at least adds a little something.
Yeah, that does.
I think it's just pasta with butter.
I love the idea that they were well, we need Ron there just to smooth things out because then people like it. I think he has genuinely become a hindrance now that people are like Kevin BX has to look over and be like, yeah, okay, all right, on this power play, I just, so yes, it is nice to see Prime or Amazon doing something that's different, and I'm excited. If they can make a Monday night hockey game into an event, that's an exciting thing.
It is exciting. I was excited.
Yeah.
I was real excited. I'm feeling it this morning, I was feeling it this morning.
Oh my God, yeah.
Real excited. One of the weird things that comes out of the game is Oliver Ekman-Larsson fined $5,000, the maximum allowed amount by the Department of Player Safety for the reverse hit on Jake Guentzel.
Yeah, what do you think about this? Do you think that, I don't know, like I've seen the replay.
Ridiculous.
I've seen the replay. I can't believe that is the thing that stood out.
What pisses me off is if you want to fine people for reverse hits, that's fine.
Yeah.
But then do it across the board.
Yeah.
It's the continued lack of consistency from the DOPS that I think drives the entire league, fan base, everyone nuts. Like, all you want when you're watching sports from the refs, from anyone in a position to make a decision, a disciplinary decision, is to be consistent.
Yeah.
Because that's how we can gauge what we're watching and how we can measure what we're watching and how we take in information. So if you're always going to fine someone $5,000 for a reverse hit, sure, then do that across the board.
Right.
But I seem to remember David Pastrnak reverse hitting John Tavares and not even getting a penalty on the ice and getting fined $0. So I don't understand it. It pisses me off. And obviously there's so many conspiracy theories about the Toronto Maple Leafs, but one of them is that the DOPS has it out for us. And Andrew, I think the DOPS has it out for us.
This was a big reoccurring talking point last year when we did the podcast during the season. We talked about the Department of Player Safety a lot, and because it felt like it was much more topical. This one, I just don't get it. I just would love. I miss those Brendan Shanahan videos that were so funny and stupid. Where he's like, in this place, his raising of the elbow was the issue with the. Oh, okay, well, whatever. I don't agree, but at least you're trying to justify it a little bit. I think that maybe the issue. I'm going to go on a huge limb here. Maybe the issue is the reverse hit not being in the corner or by the boards, which it typically is when you're both skating in and you stop and you hit the guy. Maybe it was center ice, or not even. It was close to the boards, but it was center ice. That is the closest I can get. But so what's the idea? Is it reverse hits in general are not allowed, or what? Because it's not like he elbowed the guy. I just don't know. I don't get it.
We kind of knew it was a penalty right away.
Yes.
We looked at each other and been like, oh shit, he's gonna go But it's interference. That is interference. I get that.
Yes. A reverse hit, you're not playing the puck. You're
I just want to see consistency. I just want to feel like I can understand what I'm watching. And when I see shit like that, like those fines go out, and I'm sure this will not be the last time we talk about George Peros.
No.
I just want some sort of consistency. I don't know.
I know. Is that too much to ask? It's like the consistency. Refereeing, I give a lot of passes to because it is a fast game and they're all big and they're doing stuff and you make mistakes and whatever. These things happen. I think the most egregious stuff we will try and complain about. I don't like people that complain about reffing just to complain about reffing, because most likely if you can just make a mistake, if you can chalk it up to human error, that is usually what it is. It's not some mass conspiracy. That's much harder to do. But the idea with the Department of Player Safety, is that they have had a chance to look at it and take time and review it from different angles, and then they go, with a calm head, I now decided that this is, and they still make a mistake. You're like, okay, I have no idea.
Yeah, it's egregious.
It's egregious.
This is egregious.
This is
egregious.
Yeah. Let's get into it.
Sure.
As we all know, Leaf Nation is no stranger to exaggeration or overreaction. We all do it. I'm currently overreacting. I will tomorrow and the next day because I wear this hat. I'm wearing a Leaf hat for those who aren't watching the video.
Yes.
This segment is to highlight how ridiculous and egregious Toronto media, fans, everyone around the city can get about the Leafs.
Yes.
So the whole Nick Robertson should come out of the lineup narrative that's starting to form is kind of, well, it's insane.
Yeah.
Because this is a guy who, obviously has kind of had the short end of the stick, whether you want to call it bad luck, just with injuries, and when he finally starts to get going, he gets hurt, he's missed a lot of time, can't seem to find a fit in the lineup year after year. And then this year, going into the year, obviously there's the contract issues, the trade ask, they settle. all right, here we go. Nick Robertson's going to have a chance to make the team. There's clearly a hole left wing.
Yep.
There is room for him.
Yep.
And then he has a fantastic training camp.
Yep.
An amazing preseason. So you're like, okay, this is where we give Nick Robertson his real chance.
Mm-hmm.
And then after 5 games, because he doesn't have a goal, you're going to start saying bench him?
Yeah.
That is not the move.
No.
Because what's that going to do? That's going to shatter his confidence.
It's more of the same.
Who has it's more of the same.
Yes.
It's a player who has struggled with confidence in the past.
Yes.
So you need to give him a longer leash. This is the beginning of the season. We are still working out kinks. We're still finding our footing, our gel, our new identity. This is a guy who should be going, in my opinion, at least 15, 20 in the lineup every night. Before you start calling, if he's still playing, poorly at that point, then maybe that's a quarter of the season you can start making those decisions. But, if you want this guy to succeed, if you want to be this is a top 6, middle 6,
middle 6,
second, third line player to succeed with this team, you need to give him some runway.
Yeah.
And I think for the fan base it's just so classic.
Yeah.
It's just so classic for them to call for him to get benched right away. Game 7 just ended, and hey, he got his first goal tonight. Nothing matters because this game sucked. But
it was the 2 in the 6-2. It was the last goal scored. Yeah.
All I'm saying is the guy needs a bit longer of a leash, and I think by all accounts, Craig Berube is going to give it to him. So
it does seem like that, which
relax.
is refreshing. Hey, relax, RELAX. Come on. I completely agree with you. Also, this team needs scoring. It needs scoring throughout the lineup. He provides something very unique and specific. And I would also understand if we were sitting some really good player, but we need him. We need him to be in to be doing this. And I completely agree with you. I don't understand that at all.
Yeah, and Berube said himself, he's putting himself in good spots. Mm-hmm. He's playing hard. Just a bit of bad puck luck to start the season.
Yes,
that's not enough of a reason to take anyone out of the lineup.
No, absolutely. So, no, I'm right there.
That's mine.
My egregious is going to be from a little firsthand personal experience. Joey and I on site doing hard journalism of watching the Toronto Maple Leafs live at the Scotiabank Arena, and I gotta tell you, the home crowds have gotten worse. I didn't know if this was possible, but we're telling this story about the Where's Stamkos, and it's funny. I think it's awesome, and it's charming, and there were people around us that, honest to God, it made their night. They were laughing so hard and stuff, and that's fantastic. I am now 2 points about this. One, MLSE, you should hire us as almost secret shoppers to sit there and just get people going a little bit, have fun and, rile people up, because you need that, because otherwise nobody's doing anything. They're barely clapping. You do that thing where you even feel bad when you have to stand up. You're like, oh, it's a 2-on-1, and you naturally rise to your feet because an exciting play is happening. It is so quiet and dead in there that you almost go oh, I don't want to piss anybody off. It's that level of bad. And I'm glad to see Amazon Prime, didn't pull a Colts and pipe any, fan noise in or anything like that. But
you watch your mouth. You watch your mouth.
But is that I can't believe how quiet it is. It's so much worse. Every conversation we have where it's they're so quiet in there, it's yeah they are. That it is, and I don't think it's any going to change. But more Andrew and Joey, that it might just.
More us would be nice. I mean, the couple beside us just were not there the entire second period.
Yeah, they just weren't there for the second period.
What is that?
Yeah, they wanted to stand in the concourse and drink $20 beers.
I don't understand that. We sat beside them, and I was like, I apologize in advance. I'm going to be really loud to him. He's oh, yeah, let's go. Love that. And then they were gone the entire second period. And they came back for the third, and I was like, where the hell were you guys?
Yeah, you did. Yeah. Oh, nice. Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
And then they left early.
I know.
Brutal.
And you and I having enough drinks in us that every person that walked by when the game wasn't over, it's way to beat traffic. Have fun in Mississauga.
Yeah.
It is awful. It's just awful. I don't think they can change anything. They're charging the way that they charge. They're making lots of money on it, and that will create a lot of people's first and only game in 3 years. And so people don't know how to act. And if you had regular season ticket holders that were nice and loud and showed up for 40 out of the 42 games, I think it would be a little different. But it's not going to change, and it's just kind of a sad reality.
Yeah.
That's my egregious.
A sad reality. Where in the world is Joseph Woll?
This is a great question. If you could answer this question, you could be winning the lottery ticket here, because where's Joe Woll?
Starting to piss me off at this point. Like, I mean, I don't know what's going on. This club has always been very tight-lipped about injuries. But we've now, what is this, 2 weeks into the season?
Yep.
And a lower body tweak has now kept him out for 2 weeks with still no timetable.
Yeah. Yeah. It was reported as back tightness. And back tightness. That's the word I saw being used today, which, okay, you could think about two ways of this, where you go, an injury-prone goalie was injured before the first game of the season, and you go, oh, God, that's really terrible. But the second, and maybe only silver lining of this one, would be Solaris is playing great. Hildeby played totally fine in his first game. Second game, him and everybody else played bad. So you go, well, great. Now you don't have to rush back, man. Like, you can take all the time you want because things are going okay. That would be the silver lining, but I don't even know if I believe it as the words are coming out of my mouth.
I think the problem with that is things can change like fucking that.
That's true. Solaris is not famously a healthy guy either. He's not young, and he's not healthy all the time. So you would want to give him more time off if you could.
I just, we've gone into the season with a successful year for these two goalies is both of them playing a lot more than they ever have in their careers. I mean, Joe Woll hasn't even hit 40 career games yet.
No.
And Stolarz has never played, I think his highest in a season is like 29.
Yeah. Yes.
Something around there.
Yeah.
So ideally, you're hoping to split the difference here and have them both play high 30s. Obviously, Denny. Obviously, Hildeby's going to get a few starts.
Yes.
Already has 2 at this point, but like, I don't like the lack of information.
I know.
Because it just seems when there's this little info that it's, in my opinion, they're masking the fact that it's a lot worse than we think. And that scares me. And because you're just like, oh, yeah, this was the back-to-back. Like, he was on the ice again. He'd probably get the second leg of a back-to-back. And then all of a sudden today, he's not ready still.
I know.
And then you're like, okay, well, Stolarz probably gets Thursday then. And then you got Boston on Saturday. Like, at what point are we going to hear, all right, Joe Woll's ready to go?
Yeah.
Our next back-to-back is the beginning of November, so...
Yeah. St. Louis, Minnesota. Yeah, I agree with you. And then you're playing that game of like, well, which game will Joe Woll come back for? He's not going to start Saturday in Boston. Like, that's a bad idea. So then you're playing that schedule game, and that's not good either, because then either Dennis or Stolarz are playing too much. I don't know. It's funny too, because Steve Simmons, this is egregious, Mount Rushmore member, was talking about how the goaltending, the depth in goaltending in the Toronto Maple Leafs is as good as it's ever been. And the only thing I'd push back on that, because he was saying that like Joe Woll will come back at some point, probably. Dennis Hildeby's playing, and Stolarz is playing great, and Matt Murray's on the Marlies, and then there's that rookie guy that I can't remember his name. Yeah,
I'm gonna butcher his last name, but it's like AHTKYMOV.
Yes, that guy nailed it. All of a sudden it's like, this is the most depth we've ever had. This is a good thing. And it's like, yeah, it's good to have it's good to have depth. It's good to have quality players. But when none of them are going to be like stone cold locks as like number one, then it is not good. No, I would actually argue that is a bad thing. Like, I know Stolarz is playing great, but you really kind of want to get to the end of the year and then go like, hey, he made it the whole year and he played 50 games. That's unbelievable, because that would be something remarkable. But the fact that you have this many and none of, I don't know. I just don't think this is as good a thing as Mr. Simmons was arguing.
I don't buy it for a second. I don't buy it for a second. I think this is fantastic that Anthony Stolarz is playing better than anyone would have hoped to start the season, but we are 7 games in.
Yes.
And if you're going to crown our depth as the best it's ever been, give me a fucking break. Because what depth? Joe Woll is nowhere to be found.
No, yeah.
Dennis Hildeby maybe is not ready yet.
Yeah.
Matt Murray is a walking broken glass.
Yeah.
And then the other guy, Artur Aktikamov, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I can't.
No,
even
you're
say
trying
it.
your best.
I'm trying. has never started in the NHL before. So
he just started his first AHL game. Like, it's not
we're grasping here.
Yeah, I would say so. Let's not start printing him a plane ticket. Like, I just think, it's scary times. Because, the thing is, even though we wanted to, this feels like sky is falling stuff, but like, I kind of getting a little sick of like this team, this defensive style, this Berube style, all this stuff is great. And it's like, we're 4-3. Like, we're not playing that great. We played great against the Lightning, but we lose against Montreal and Columbus. Like, this is the kind of shit that I thought was going to stop because they're playing it like it's the playoffs all the time and it really matters and whatever. And it's like, I don't know. Some of the issues are still some of the issues. Like, I don't think this is as big of a rejuvenation project as some are saying. Like, we don't have a number one goaltender right now, and this team is not playing great. It's I don't know. It's a little frustrating right now.
It's too early to tell, I think.
Yeah,
it's too early to crown anyone on anything. Yes. And I think you got two real big games coming up. You got Berube playing his old team on Thursday.
Yes.
And then you got Toronto-Boston on Saturday night.
Yeah.
And that's a nice little measuring stick game in the first month of the season. So we'll have a little bit of a better idea then. But until then, Joe Woll, where are you?
Where are you? Joe, call us back. I feel like we're left on red here. Like, Joe, please.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to say, so this is the fun of recording right after the game. Austin Matthews on what response he expects on Thursday. A good one for sure. Obviously, we got St. Louis coming in. Chief used to coach there. We just got our butts handed to us a little bit. It's a busy week for us, so there's no time to sulk over this. I love the reference to Chief and Houston going back to coach there because this is the kind of stuff that if you like your coach, you show up and you want to kick the crap out of that other team. You want to make a point. And that is a sign that you like your coach, that you like doing this. So I hope you're not focusing on this Columbus game because we aren't. We're doing a podcast on this. We barely even talked about it. So please, please.
Yeah. Let's get into the God of the Week.
Obviously we're looked upon as, kind of gods here, to be honest.
All right, I think that's enough time. All right, so we're going to name a God of the Week every single week. It doesn't have to be a player, doesn't have to be a coach, doesn't have to be anyone particular. You just got to name someone.
Yeah.
Who's the God of the Week in the Leafs organization this week? And because of that sour-ass game that I just watched, I switched mine, and the God of the Week is number 13, Matt Sundin.
Oh, very good.
Because Matt's is in town, and when you see Matt's, you can't help but smile.
Oh,
That is just a gorgeous man, just aging like fine wine, with a wonderful Swedish accent. He was hoarse last night, eh? Like, you could tell either he's been partying or something because he was hoarse as hell. But when they gave out the jersey, or they were doing a thing in the arena where it was like the
points.
all-time 5 points.
Yeah.
Can you guess like the top 5 in points? And then obviously Matt's is number 1. And then they shock the crowd and they bring him out and he gives 2 signed jerseys to some kids. And he gets a standing O because when Matt is in the building, the energy is in the building. He brings that energy to this generation, to my generation, to our generation, to the generation before us. And the generation after us could only be so lucky to know a captain like Matt Sundin. So, that's my God of the Week because I love the big Swede.
Yeah. He looks great, too. He's still a wagon of a human being, even though he's lost a healthy amount of weight. And but he just comes out and you're like, God, that guy is big. We should say he's in town because he's promoting his book, Home and Away, an autobiography. And I will say, too, there's a clip going around where he was getting interviewed about it. And he was just talking about just going like, oh, yeah, I used to drive down Avenue. And then I would come down to maybe University. It'd be about 45-minute drive, and you go down Bay and you see people, all the bankers and stuff in suits, but wearing a Leafs jersey over top of it. And he goes, he's like, it's nothing like it. You're just like, oh, I love you, Matt. Oh, you're the best. And I will say too, when they said and number one points of all time, Matt Sundin, please welcome. And you could hear people jumping to their feet and going, oh, wow, which was so nice.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Yeah,
that's really nice.
My God of the Week, I also switched it up after tonight's game, which just, God. I'm going to go with Natalie Morris. If you don't know who Natalie Morris is, she's the anthem singer for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and she is amazing. She has a beautiful voice. She's so great. I love what she's wearing. I hope her ankle is feeling better. She's in a walking boot, so I hope she's doing good. But always a pleasure. The Toronto Maple Leafs have done one thing really well, is always getting a very good anthem singer. So Natalie Morris is in the long line of very good anthem singers, and always a pleasure seeing her.
I mean, we had Martina Ortiz-Luis for a few amount of years, and that was just like she made "O Canada" into a song that I've always been like. Our anthem is kind of like it's a little boring, but she changed the key. Like she changes the key, and she did some runs that just I'd never heard anyone do before, and I was like, oh man, maybe our anthem's not that boring.
I know.
And I think having Martina pass the torch to Natalie, it's like you said, like we have been blessed with some powerhouse singers. Powerhouse.
So good. I love it, and it's always a pleasure. We got to see her in person on Monday, and that was awesome. So yeah, Natalie Morris, my God of the week.
Love it. Let's do the numbers game.
Let's do the numbers game 2.0, a new version of the same game from last year where I pick a number between 1 and 99, and Joey has to name 2 Leafs who have worn that number. Those Leafs cannot be currently on the roster. For each player Joey cannot name per number, he will donate $5 to You Can Play Foundation, a foundation working to ensure the safety and inclusion for all that participate in sports. The numbers that we've done so far are number 2 and number 11, so we're going to do another number this week. Joey, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So we've been choosing lots of low numbers because that makes a lot of sense because a lot of older players, I don't think you could go past 20 or something like that. I have no idea. But we're going to do something a little higher this time. We are going to go with number 22.
Okay.
So Joey's going to be thinking here. He's going to try and come up with some numbers.
I got 2.
You got 2 already?
Yeah.
Wow, that was quick. Joey, what are the two players you're thinking of?
All right, my mind first went to current Minnesota Frost PWHL head coach Ken Klee.
Wow, Ken Klee, very good. Yes, Ken Klee wore number 22.
And my second pick is one of the worst Lou Lamoriello contracts of all time.
Very good.
Mr. Nikita Zaitsev.
Nikita Zaitsev, absolutely. He wore it from 2017 to 2019. Other famous number 22s for the Toronto Maple Leafs are Zach Bogosian.
Luke Richardson wore it for
Luke Richardson, very good. Do you got? Wait, don't. I don't want to ruin it. Do you have any more?
Do I have any more?
It's kind of it's weird. Like there's a 2 really famous Leafs on there. They're a little bit older, but then you get the other side of it, like Francois Beauchemin.
Oh, yeah.
Glenn Wesley.
Francois.
Alexei Ponikarovsky.
Okay, so Ponikarovsky's another one who wore multiple numbers. He was more famous as a 23. That was his famous number.
Yeah, they have it for the years that he wore it. It's only 1 season. But you also have Rick Vive. So that's, one of the better Leafs of all time. Wore number 22. Brian Conacher. Who is the other one that I have under here? Tiger Williams, number 22. So for 5 years. Yes. So kind of a big number, but you got that right off the jump.
Nice.
Good job.
The streak is still intact.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's only going to get harder, but yes, you're doing well so far.
Not much going on around the league, but tonight, the first and only Frozen Frenzy, which pretty much means all 32 teams are in action, and the start times were staggered by 15 minutes so that there was always hockey on. A great idea.
Great idea.
However, they chose to do it on the NBA opening night.
Not a good
Perhaps
idea.
not the best idea.
Yeah. it's always 1 step forward, 2 steps back with the NHL. Like, oh, no, bad. But, okay. What is this? What's the red zone thing they're trying out? This, like they're trying a center ice type product. I'll have to look more into this and find out. But
it's basically that, right? So that there's always hockey playing. Like it's like not like usual where every game is an intermission. So
right. All at the same time.
You're trying to have your own version of red zone. It's not the same because nothing can kind of compete with what football does. But yeah, I just think the clear issue here is you want popularity with Americans and with Americans in the southern states. Yeah. And then you chose the NBA opening night to do this the only time it's on this year.
Yeah, not the best. Like,
come on, Gary.
I understand that they're trying to feature this Monday night game for Prime that there will be no other games. Like, it's the game to watch. Also replicating a little bit what football does.
That's great. Yeah, I get that.
I totally get that. And it'll always kind of be a Prime game. It'll be Boston, Montreal. It'll be something, right? But yeah, to do it the next night for Frozen Frenzy, it's okay. All right, I guess. But good idea. In premise.
Good idea. Just massage it a little bit.
Yes.
A little bit of a massage.
Yeah, just like most things hockey comes up with, the NHL comes up with, just maybe 5 more minutes in the oven. You know, just like a little bit longer.
Take the pasta with butter, Ron, and add perhaps a nice arrabbiata sauce.
That's so
maybe
good.
a vodka sauce.
Yep.
Anyway, I think that's all the time we have today. If you made it this far, we appreciate the hell out of all you good buds. Thank you so much for listening, and go Leafs go.
Go Leafs go.
When you're back down in Mexico, I hope you feel better like you wanted to then. I know we haven't time.
Furnished by Sad Styles Productions.
Get into it.